Hi, this is Eric Bourne with Harrisburg Area Community College, and today we're going to be looking at a trio of readings from the Going Green, What Must Be Done chapter of our book Current Issues and Enduring Questions. We're going to be looking at How Green Was My Bottle, Thinking Like a Mountain, and Natural Happiness. Now, our goal here is to help you get started with these readings, to give you some context and give the foundational ideas, a glimpse of the discussion surrounding their ideas so that you can get a good context for what you're reading, to be able to organize your thoughts, really see how it's going to be useful for you. We'll start with How Green Was My Bottle. And our starting idea here is that environmental problems don't always arise from what these big energy companies and governments decide to do. Often they occur because of what millions of individual people choose to do. And this is a big distinction. Often we think of environmental problems as something that some scary corporation did. The oil spills that we occasionally see are a good example. Those don't occur because of, individual consumer choices. However, some major problems that we see do occur because of our day-to-day choices. Now, the choice that we're thinking about in this essay is drinking water. All of us need to drink water in order to live, and the way we get our water matters because, well, all of us are doing it. Now, this essay compares two common means of drinking your water throughout the day. Option 1 is using disposable plastic bottles, and option 2 thinks about using a reusable stainless steel bottle. Now, as you read, notice that neither of these options is like this entirely friendly, wonderful Captain Planet green environmental solution. Both of them have problems. Both of them damage or hurt the environment in some way, shape, or form. Making the green choice, going green, often involves picking the lesser of two evils, the solution that is less of a problem. Our second reading, Thinking Like a Mountain, considers a situation where our attempts to help the environment ended up doing the opposite. And this is something that has happened a number of times. We have a grand idea for how we're going to solve some sort of problem with an insect that's giving us trouble or some kind of predator, and we end up doing more damage in trying to solve the problem than existed in the first place. Leopold is frank about a problem that he participated in. As a park ranger, he killed wolves. And looking back as an older and wiser man, he sees how this choice hurt our national parks. And it's a little bit painful to read some parts of this essay, fair warning. But he is very honest about it because he wants us to avoid repeating that sort of mistake. As you read, try to figure out what Leopold means by thinking like a mountain. He definitely returns to this idea a couple of times, but he doesn't necessarily spell it out for you. What mindset does he want you to change? What mindset does he want you to adopt? Finally, let's consider natural happiness. In this essay, Bloom explores a question that most of us answer briefly and without much thought. He asks, why should we care about nature? And you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who would be really invested into answering this question. However, I think you'll find, with Bloom's help, that we really have a more complicated answer to this than we realize. First, he complicates our response to this by listing some negative aspects of nature that we've been able to overcome with technology. He points out to you ways in which you don't like nature, ways in which you are happy that we have overcome nature. For example, we should all be pretty happy about the vaccines which make sure that our children are not riddled with smallpox. We should be happy that polio is swiftly, well, swiftly disappearing from the world. He complicates this yet again, however, by showing something a bit contradictory. As much as we're proud of how we've been able to overcome nature in certain respects, we've never really gotten over our desire for it. And this desire shows up in many different ways. As you read this essay, notice how much of the human experience he points to. This wide array of human desires and needs that he discusses in thinking about our relationship with nature. Finally, notice the idea he thinks will persuade most people to preserve the natural world. This is a goal for his essay that isn't necessarily apparent until you get to the end. He's trying to figure out what's going to motivate people to want to do something to save the natural world. He's thinking about what is it about nature that we want to keep, what does it do for us, and what's going to get people out of their couches to do something about saving the natural world. Alright folks, that should be about it to get you started with these readings. I hope you enjoy them. I hope they help you think about some of the environmental problems which you might want to discuss in your upcoming essay project. Come to class with your questions and discussion.